Yuki was an ordinary boy living in a small village nestled in the mountains of Japan. He loved exploring the forests, chasing after butterflies, and listening to the stories of the elders. But Yuki was different from other children in one particular way. He had a natural gift for noticing patterns. This talent served him well in school, where he quickly realized that focusing on the most important things often brought the greatest rewards. One day, Yuki's teacher, Mrs. Sato, introduced the class to a concept called the Pareto Principle. She explained that in many areas of life, roughly 80% of the effects come from 20% of the causes. Yuki was fascinated. The idea that a small amount of effort could lead to large results resonated deeply with him. That afternoon, as Yuki walked home, he couldn't stop thinking about the principle. He looked at the rice fields and noticed that the healthiest plants seemed to be clustered in just a few areas, while the rest struggled to grow. He remembered how his father would always tend to certain sections of their field with extra care, and realized that this was an example of the Pareto Principle in action. Yuki decided to apply the principle to his own life. He started with his studies. Rather than trying to memorize every detail in his textbooks, he focused on understanding the core concepts that would likely appear on tests. Soon, his grades began to improve, and he had more time to spend on his hobbies. Next, Yuki turned his attention to his chores. Instead of doing everything at once, he identified the tasks that made the most difference. He spent extra time cleaning the central living area, where his family spent most of their time, and tidied up the spaces that mattered most to his parents. They noticed and praised his efforts, and he found himself with extra time to play in the forest. Word of Yuki's new approach spread through the village. People came to him for advice, and he eagerly shared his insights. He helped the baker organize her shop so that the best-selling items were easier to reach, and he suggested ways for the farmer to focus on the most fertile parts of his land. Everywhere Yuki applied the Pareto Principle, things seemed to improve. As Yuki grew older, he continued to apply the 80-20 rule to everything he did. And while he never stopped exploring the forests or listening to stories, he did so with the understanding that in life, sometimes a little wisdom could go a long way.